Well, buddy, my camera on my phone is a little busted, so hopefully the video quality is okay. Um, I mean, definitely chose a spot that is about as inner broccoli as it gets here. Um, and you know my process. So I guess the idea was kind of to take that process and level it up, level it up, so to speak. And it was a lot of work. A lot of work went into it. Even from the very beginning, when we found the property, it was all through that same process of basically finding the spot, buying the spot, and then making the spot into your own. Let's see here. It is, it should have rained a month ago. It is as dry as it gets. That's why everything's so brown. It is as dry as it gets. Last year, this time, it rained, when did we, man, I don't even remember how long we've been in this house. That's how much it seems to have passed in such a short amount of time. We moved along high midway through 2021. We built the house midway through 2022, and we're here midway through 2024 almost, so coming up on 2 years in the house. Last season, I don't even remember when it started raining. I think it started raining on the early side. Maybe mid-March. It's May, and it hasn't rained yet since October, maybe. So, but philosophically, and it kind of puts me at ease a little bit when I think about my, quote unquote, my assets. I think my purpose is, I don't think about this property as mine or my wife's. I just think that we're here to take care of it and then pass it on to the next person, whoever that may be. And like, this isn't my dog. I'm just taking care of it, albeit maybe poorly. It's a good dog. She's a good dog. So I kind of think of myself as a gardener of all things, tending and then passing it on to the next person. And you never know. You never know what life has in store for you. So ideally, when I first bought this property, I thought we'd sell it. But and trust me, during the rough periods of time on this property, I was like, just sell this piece of shit. But after settling in here for a couple years, I kind of envision this property holding on to it for life. And same thing with our other property that we have in Yileen, which is a beautiful property. And I think these are assets that to me are priceless. And dabbling in real estate speculation here in Vietnam, oftentimes you're presented with two types of options. One is the best investment, and the second one is just something you like, just something that makes you happy. And both times we went with the thing that we liked, not necessarily the thing that would be the best investment for our two major property purchases. And we've had this property for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and the other one for 2 or 3 years now. And I would say that when it comes to real assets, you get what you like. Because when the market goes to hell, because you're never going to make as much as you think you're going to make. Now, this property, I have no idea how much it's worth. I mean, there's no way of gauging this property's market value, but it's incredibly valuable to me. I love every day that I'm on this property, gardening and just experiencing life out here. You got fresh air, which is at a premium here in Vietnam. Short drive to the ocean there. You got trails in these hills. You got trails up the hill there to the other side of the mountain. There's everything that I like about life, kind of, in this property. And so it's priceless. It doesn't really have a market value. And what I realized is when you are tending to, when you are the guardian of something that's priceless, which for me is just my connection with nature, being able to tend a garden, get fruit from the gardens and such, have a dog that can run around, chase lizards, take care of, grow some vegetables. I'm much better at growing fruit than vegetables. I'm a huge failure at vegetables, but I've been okay at growing some fruit here. Mango tree, little papaya. I could pick this, and actually you should pick them, because if they get too ripe, they'll get a little, like a sore on the place that it touches the trees, and then that's a vector for disease. So I could pick that one, but I'm just kind of giving it a little bit more time on the tree. But I notice when you're tending to priceless things and you're exactly where you want to be. This is what I built here. Doesn't look like much. Haven't tested it yet because it hasn't rained yet, but ideally all the rain water will collect here and then run down the hill and go out there to protect the hill from erosion here. And this is actually kind of a pond Doesn't look like a pond because there's no water in it. I got pond and little stepping stones here. Kind of up the thing there. Need to cover that with soil. Don't have any more soil, so my little, you can fill this up with water, and it looks nice. You just gotta like pull the grass, weed it a little bit, and clean it up a little bit, and then it looks pretty good. Just been so busy with other things. But when you're where you want to be, you don't really need expensive things. You don't crave expensive things. And you're just kind of content. Here's some star fruit. This tree didn't do too well this season. My wife blames me, of course, for its lack of star fruit production here. But I think it's just the weather. Not my fault. So, I'd like to build a house all the way on the side, and then a pool all down here, and kind of get like a whatever, the infinite pool thing going here, right along the view there. That'd be pretty sweet. My wife just laughs at me whenever I bring that up. She asks me where I'm going to get the money for that. And it's okay. You can plan. It's called planning ahead, honey. It's called planning ahead. Oh, it's a little dark on that side. Got a nice, some bananas here. Some bananas here. That just started growing leaves, so I think I left the hose on here and it got a bunch of water. Started growing some leaves there. So this took me a long time to put in this pipe and do all that, you know, move all those rocks and stuff. It's a pain in the butt. I mean, everything, like, not to brag, but planted every single one of these trees. Moved every single rock you've seen. I've moved probably multiple times. Planted every single one of these trees. And you don't just plant the tree. You don't just dig a little hole here. You dig a big hole, because a lot of times there's a big rock right underneath where you want to plant the tree. And you got to dig up that rock first. Where do you think all these rocks came from? Not all of them. A lot of these rocks were cut rocks that were in a huge pile right there that we cut a long time ago when we built out the base of that wall back there. We dug it out. We dug out the hill, flattened the back part, and then there was a bunch of rock, right? Huge boulders. And then we paid somebody to cut it all, and then we built that wall with the rock, and then there was like, you know, what took to build that wall, there's like twice as much rock left. So it was in a pile back here, and I moved that pile to kind of create some space over there, and then a lot of these rocks I did dig up when I planted these trees. So, you know, you dig down pretty deep, because there's no point in planting a mango tree, spending all that time planting a mango tree, mixing the soil, fertilizing, just to plant it over some giant rock, and then it's never going to grow, and in a year or two it just dies. So, and you know, you see all these trees and stuff, you plant 3 trees and whatever. Sometimes 2 of them die, sometimes 1 of them dies. So these are just the ones that survived. So I guess basically what you're saying, and what I'm saying is, the sheer amount of physical labor that went into this is absurd. It's just absurd. You know, I want to do right by the property. I just want to do right by the property. Another. Now, I did not plant this one. This one just kind of grew. So it's so dry. Generally, you bag the fruit to protect it from this yellow fly that injects maggots into the fruit, and then your fruit gets all maggoty, and you can't eat it. But it's so dry, there aren't any yellow flies. So I bag the fruit. I bag, B-A-G, bag the fruit, just to remind myself to pick the fruit. Because the mangkao, that's custard apple, these are all custard apple trees, and this area of Vietnam is well known for their custard apples, and frankly, they're the best. They're my favorite fruit. They're so good, and the custard apples around here, especially, are amazing. I haven't really taken the time to really do the orchids. I stuck them here temporarily, basically, to just keep them alive. These look pretty cool, don't they? I stuck them here to just keep them alive. I've been so busy doing other things that the orchids, you know, pick your battles. I'm going to walk in here and turn off the water. We've been having some water issues lately, and I pumped some water into this tank back here just to be sure. We have a tank on the roof. We have a tank on the roof. I'm just going to check how much water is in here. Is it halfway full? All the way full? Almost all the way full. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We've been having some water issues the last couple days, and so I've been... Come on, Tiger. Tiger, what are you doing? Tiger follows me everywhere. Because I just scare all the lizards, you know. So it likes to get the lizards. Tiger's a murderous beast. So this is basically what I spent the last month and a half doing. Which is pretty self-explanatory. This was just I have a bunch of other videos that you can watch, show the progression of this beast that I slayed. I slayed the beast. It was all just a dirt hill. And kind of did a little terrace job here. I dug this out, rock wall to here, flattened this all out, another rock wall up and around to there. See how it kind of curls around there. This kind of gives you the elevation, sort of. And then this wall Little tricky. Little tricky. It's okay. It's okay. Okay for a first try here. Not terrible. And ideally we'll get some soil and fill this up, but I was also thinking about a giant potted bonsai tree. I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking about it. But now we got stairs, and I'm going to, pimp that out with a bunch of lights. Get some solar lights shining up into the tree. This is kind of a little bit of a cluster right here. This is a pepper plant, which we just kind of planted sort of haphazardly. But this is a Cebucha tree, which I would like to grow, like get all bushy, right? Like give me a bush here. I want a nice big bush to give me some shade when the sun's low and the sun's on this side. This time of year, the sun's on this side and the sun's low, shining in there. Give me a nice bush right there. Boom. But it's slow growing. It's taking its time. We'll get into this. This thing's done okay. It looks a little rough around the edges here. I would like it to look better than that. And the new foliage also kind of looks a little rough there. I want it to look better. But it is growing, and it's pretty big. So it would be a shame if this guy didn't make it, because I've put a lot into that one, and that one's a tall one. That'll grow taller than our house. I mean, ideally, that would grow like it's a coconut tree, and it would grow like higher than the roof there, and then we would get a nice shade. And I actually want to grow one of these here, and I planted one here. That's a tall one, but those two are different species, I think. And this one actually is doing better, even though I transplanted it. This one's the one that's native to this area. That's kind of like an import. So we like to grow native plants. I didn't know that was an import. And then that's a mango tree that I'm probably going to chop if this one seems to start doing well, but I'm just waiting. So I want to grow one of those there, here, like in between that one and this one. And then another one where this papaya tree is. And then we would have like a nice ring of giant coconut trees that would give this area some shade. Lime tree that has never grown any limes ever. It's huge disappointment. Guava. I planted these recently. Guava tree, planted that pretty recently. It's not gonna have fruit for a little bit. More custard apple. Bonsai tree. Bonsai tree. I do a lot of lazy gardening where I just kind of throw the trash around and then what grows, grows. I don't put too much effort. Like all this is peanuts, peanut, and it doesn't grow a lot of peanuts. Like if I put more effort into it, more peanuts would grow. But I don't put any effort into it because I've got bigger fish to fry here. Got more bananas. Bananas are great. More bananas up there. These are kind of too close together and they're not really doing well. So it kind of needs to be cleared out here. But once again, I've got bigger fish to fry. Oh, that's getting closer. Nope. I want to put lights. Like this wall, you know, it needs to have lights like bam, 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 painted, and then lantern, a light up here. You know what I'm saying. Like give it the treatment. Give it the treatment, but it's on the list. I did cement these rocks together with the extra cement. You know, at the end of the day, you just have a bunch of cement from doing that, and you just did the rocks here, so that's pretty good. I want to do the rocks in there. Now, doing the rocks is important because snakes get in there, so it's kind of a safety measure. Kind of protect from snakes. Guava tree. Now this one has a bunch of fruit. That's probably could pick this. I kind of like to wait for the bottom to open up a little bit more. And this one's not open, but it generally kind of flares out more when it's ripe. This one's probably ripe because it has like, I don't know if the black dots mean anything, but I don't know. I kind of like waiting for the bottom to flare out, but you see there's just a ton of guava on this tree. And this guava is really good. I'm not a big guava fan, but the guava on this tree is pretty good. These two Mancao trees, kind of a disappointment. They're big, but they don't grow any fruit. And this one has something kind of wrong with it. I don't know what's wrong with it. Maybe these were some of the first two trees that we planted. And maybe, you know, I got better at planting trees, right? You plant whatever, 50 million trees, you get better. So this was the first couple of trees I planted. Maybe there's a big rock or like a bunch of trash or something under here. I don't know. That's why it's not growing very well. More bananas. This is the least ripe bananas of all of them. This is the one that fruited most recently. Big banana tree. Tiger, man's best friend, always following me around, right? Always following me around. It's got a problem on its neck there that I've been trying to take care of. trying to keep the living things alive. This is a longan tree. This is a longan tree. Just doing pretty well. Avocado tree. I don't know if that'll ever fruit. It's kind of too hot here for an avocado tree, but I like it. Did a bunch of work today. Crazy amount of work. A lot of cleaning. Cleaned up this whole area. This area was a disaster. This whole table was a disaster. This was a disaster. Organized underneath here. And it looks a lot better now. I like to sit here and just kind of enjoy the evening. Just kidding. Usually I'm working way too hard to sit down and enjoy anything. But I try. So that's what we got going on here.